Awesome. Good morning and happy Monday, everyone. This is our CS and PM monthly sync. It's December 11th, and we'll kind of start it off with the public portion and product updates. I think Alana is not going to make it back from her ski trip today, so I'll be hosting. But yeah, let's kick things off with product updates. And Sarah, it looks like you are up first.
Thanks, Grant. Yeah, I just wanted to call out that we are deprecating, or we're removing proxy-based AST in 17.0. We announced the deprecation in 16.6, but just want to keep reminding people so that we can try to migrate customers sooner rather than later.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. I'm up next in 1B. So I wanted to just highlight that in 16.6 and 16.7, we've completed our efforts around compliance enforcement of security policies. So first off, with this recent addition, you'll be able to enforce multiple approvers on a merge request, and then define, various filters. So if you want to, enforce approvals on merges to the default branch and set a particular approver, you can do that, or set based on roles. Second, you can also override merge request settings and then your branch or repository settings in projects where you're enforcing security policies. So this will help to prevent various circumventions or kind of force all changes to, say, the default branch through the merge request process. This will prevent things like renaming branches, removing the default branch or changing the default branch, or allowing, for example, someone who has made a commit in the merge request to also approve it, or for the MR author to also approve the merge request. So yeah, this is, I think, going to be awesome for a lot of customers. We have a lot of demand around it. And we are also working on one additional change as we're introducing the concept of group level branch configuration. You can define various patterns at the group level. So we are working to kind of close that one last bit. So if you are using that setting, we want to make sure that you are not able to also kind of circumvent through that process, through that setting or workflow. So I'll pause there for any questions or comments before moving on to C. And looks like we're good. Cool. So next thing I wanted to highlight is that in this milestone, we are working on some features I think you all are very aware of: linking security policies to compliance frameworks, and then adding custom CI YAML support to our scan execution policies. And what I wanted to share is that we are working on trying to bundle these features behind essentially an experimental feature toggle that you can manage as a customer at the group level. So this will allow you to, as a customer, kind of pick the groups that you want to test in. For example, you could create a new test group in self-managed, or for SaaS, you might need to create a test group to enable the experimental flag and test these features without affecting, your current organization or namespace. As there's a lot of moving parts here, we are also working on an architecture blueprint, and once that is merged, I'll share that, and that's going to show you more details in the iteration, some of the things that we're working on, some of the thought going into what we're building. So I think that will be a good resource for everyone here. And I'll also be working on some additional communications. So as we release this as an experimental feature, we'll have a feedback issue for customers. So if they run into challenges or gaps or issues, this will be a resource for customers to pass that back to us. And then I'm also going to create a dedicated channel for this particular feature, so that you all can join in and see more granular progress updates. I'll do some broadcast updates, but this particular feature may not be as applicable to everyone at GitLab. So I'll try to keep those more sparse and then have this dedicated channel for those who want to follow more closely. Cool. So that's what I wanted to share for that, and then I'll pass it on to Hannah.
I wanted to get the thoughts of all of you, if any of you have them. We deprecated Crowd, so that is a identity provider that you can hook up and use that as your single source of truth to log into GitLab with. It's an Atlassian product. And I've been looking at the usage, and despite it being deprecated since 15.0, I have not seen any, it's actually gotten more use. So people are not migrating off of it. And I suspect we may not actually be able to remove support. But I'm wondering if anyone can help give context possibly on why we're not seeing this happen. Is it an awareness thing or something else? Samir, it looks like you have some thoughts.
I do. So one of my customers did reach out to me and mentioned about the deprecation and that they wanted to migrate. They asked what the alternatives are because organizationally they are going to continue using Crowd. And so how else? So I offered them, standard protocols like SAML and OAuth and stuff like that. And it was, none of it was good enough for them because it required a lot of research on their part to migrate. So it was just easier to keep it and just say, okay, it's deprecated, it's fine. And when it stops working and the house starts burning down, we'll worry about it. Right now, not a big deal. That was sort of the thing that came back. So I suggest, maybe documenting in part of the deprecation notice what alternatives are available and how to migrate. If there are any steps that we can document, that would be valuable.
Okay. Yes, thank you for that. That's helpful. I know it's a big change. And what I don't want to do though is press even harder on, hey, this is going to be removed and cause people potentially, months of work and then backpedal on it and be like, never mind, we're gonna keep it. And so that's where I'm at with it now. This one's stumping me a bit, but thank you for that context. All right, if no one else has anything to add, we can move on to John.
Thanks, Anna. Yeah, just a quick call out on continuous vulnerability scanning. It's currently feature flagged, but in 16.8, we're making it generally available. So it will be on by default. And then that's for dependency scanning only. In 16.9, we'll be working to release container scanning for CVS. I don't know if there's any questions out there. Mirko?
Yeah, what happened to that button where you turn CVS on and off? I was looking for that like crazy and I didn't find it anymore. So I thought it was already, enabled by default because I don't find that button anymore.
I can look into that. I'm not entirely sure what happened to that specific button. Yeah, I can look in that and get back to you, Marco.
Yeah, because okay, yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions or feedback on the product updates or the public portion that we want to discuss before moving to the private portion? Okay, sounds like a no. So let me stop